Hi, I'm Tom Heller. I'll be using some whiteboard software to illustrate how ColumBUS's hub and spoke service pattern, which is oriented toward and relies upon a transit center or central transfer point, results in an unproductive bus system that is inconvenient to users and all potential users, and which as a consequence suffers both low ridership and high cost per ride. ColumBUS transfers about half as many riders as cities with transit systems of comparable size, and its $7 per ride cost is roughly twice that of comparable city transit systems. I will illustrate what I believe is the cause of ColumBUS's low productivity and high cost, its use of a hub and spoke service pattern, and reliance upon not one but two transfer centers or transfer points. I contend that transit centers needlessly undermine the convenience of riding transit by destroying the continuity of service along major corridors and thoroughfares in our community. Not only do transit centers destroy the ability to provide transit continuity along these corridors, they greatly undermine the frequency of service ColumBUS otherwise could provide its riders along those same corridors and thoroughfares. That further harms the attractiveness and convenience of ColumBUS service. Lastly, because transit centers are not places people are traveling to, and instead are where they have to sit and wait an additional 10 minutes or so just to transfer to another bus, transit centers are, functionally speaking, black holes where nothing happens for 10 minutes of every hour for every bus in the system. Transit centers are thus harmful, inconvenient, and unproductive facilities. This, in a nutshell, is why the planned transit center at Millrace Parks Senior Center is not worth building. Now, let me turn to illustrating ColumBUS's service pattern and why it is so unproductive and ineffective, inconvenient, and costly. Okay, what we have here is a depiction of ColumBUS's major streets and thoroughfares. We have National Road bisecting the community now. It formerly was a bypass. We have 25th Street, which was Highway 46, I guess in the olden days. We have Central Avenue. We have 10th leading out towards Walmart and Kohl's, and then becoming Tally. Mar Road, 17th Street along the hospital, and the second and third couplet that turns both up towards Central as well as goes out State Street. Okay, we have a transit center. We have a major transit center, if you will, major, in ColumBUS, basically down here south of City Hall. We also have a timed transfer point out along National Road at Target. Okay, we have 4 bus routes. Those 4 bus routes all emanate and fan out from the downtown transit center at every hour on the hour. 30 minutes into the hour, they all rendezvous over here where they can exchange passengers among them, just as on the hour they can exchange passengers down here. So here's the schematically, stylistically, the bus service pattern that ColumBUS has. This is route number 1, goes up something like, call it something like that. I'm going to do this quickly. Route number 2 does something like this. Route number 3 goes a little bit more far afield, does something like this. Notice they're all going out and looping back, and route number 4 is out and back in similar pattern. Okay, every on the hour every hour on the hour they have to get back here. Okay, they all do rendezvous at the half hour out here at Target. So my diagram is not perfectly accurate, but in essence they go loop out, loop back, loop out, loop back, loop out, loop back, loop out, loop back. That presents a challenge to riders. There are people who would like to travel from this part of town to Kroger. How do they get there? Or from apartments here to Fair Oaks Mall and beyond to Columbus North High School. Or let's say you're up at IUPUI or Ivy Tech and you want to get down to a job, or you want to do some shopping down, at what was Circuit City or Walmart or whatnot. Those are also patterns of travel demand, transit travel demand. But there aren't any bus routes that can get you there in any direct fashion, or certainly not in timely fashion. Let's say you're at the hospital and you're assigned to a doctor out at North Park for a specialist, or to one along Middle Road up here, which unfortunately I haven't shown. How do you get there? You just plain really can't. Some of these places might as well be in Alaska for how long it would take you to get there. So people don't ride the bus to get to those places. They don't go. Okay, I'm going to pause here and collect my thoughts before moving on. Okay, I think you can grasp how the bus service that loops out, loops back, loops out, loops back, loops out, loops back, brings everybody to downtown, but not too many people really are going downtown. They want to go someplace else because the center of town really is along National Road nowadays. I think our bus service pattern may date back to the 1970s. I don't really know. I understand the fare policy dates back about that far too. It's been a quarter to ride since the service began, apparently. So what can be done? Well, certainly building a transit center out here in Millrace Park ain't going to improve the situation at all. It's just going to move where all these loops come back and back and back and back. It's not going to help people traveling from here to here, from IUPUC or Ivy Tech down along National, or anywhere along National. Those are the major thoroughfares in town that should receive the emphasis for transit service. Along National, along 25th. These are major thoroughfares. A lot of people live along them. A lot of jobs and service and shopping exist along them. And along Central. Those are the main ones. 17th is another. And out, maybe 10th out from downtown. But you can see that those blues aren't well served by the red loops of the transit service. So because transit service uses these loops and relies upon transit centers that keep yanking the bus assets back into downtown or this transit center every hour on the hour, you can't run them continuously along National. You can't run buses continuously back and forth along 25th or up and down Central or any combinations of those. You lose frequency of service, you lose continuity of service, and as a consequence your service is inconvenient for riders, and you get low ridership as a result, and you're spending a lot of money not producing very much in the way of ridership. You're not serving many people. So that's my lesson, if you will, for today. I hope this has been illuminating to you, and this is the basis for why I say building a transit center down here with federal stimulus money or anybody's money doesn't make any sense. It's not worth doing it because the problem with the low productivity of the ColumBUS system arises because of the route pattern. We have to do away with that route pattern and totally realign our services along our major thoroughfares to provide better continuity and better frequency, and you will see ridership rise, and you'll produce much more service for your constituencies with the same dollars. So I say, don't build this transit center. Do away with it. Stop it in its tracks. It is a white elephant. Get rid of it. Thank you for your time and your interest.